So earlier this week, I spoke about Georgia's offensive line, defensive line, a big reason why I think they could win another national championship in 2024, because Kirby said a lot about his offensive and defensive line, but he also talked a lot about his receivers this week. It's something I've talked about in other videos earlier this year. I think Georgia has a very talented, very deep group of receivers. And several reporters asked Kirby Smart about a number of his wide receivers earlier this week after Georgia's first spring scrimmage last weekend. I'm not exactly sure when you're watching this video, but I definitely want to talk about Kirby's comments about some of his wide receivers. Now, the first guy he was asked about was Arian Smith, right? The speedster, the track star, the guy that Ohio State fans will always remember, right? He's a big play machine, but he's just not consistent. But he's a guy that Kirby and the staff want to become an impact player. They saw him as a track guy with a lot of potential out of high school, and they said, if we can teach this kid how to be a receiver, how to run routes, how to create separation and get open, by not just using his speed, but becoming a receiver. And he's still not there yet, but when he was healthy last year, you could see towards the end of the year, they wanted him to get the football. He is still a project for them. And if he doesn't turn out and have a big year, I think the staff, Kirby Smart included, are going to look at themselves and say, hey, we failed this kid. We brought him in. We had high hopes, high expectations, and he just did not turn into that receiver that we wanted him to be. There's still time, and I think he's a receiver that a lot of Georgia fans may have forgotten about already. But here's what he had to say on what he's seen from Arian Smith this spring. He said, good and bad. I think we've made a conservative effort to spend more time on developing Arian. When he decided to come back, I said to him, look, I want you to be here with a purpose with you coming back. Where are the areas of growth? We've done some things during special teams periods. He's been a real dominant special teams player, and he knows that. He loves that and embraces that. But where he's made his first name being a dominant special teams player, we've taken some of those times that he's invested 4 years in special teams work, and we've allowed him to really grow as a wideout. I think it's helped him a lot to do that. He's had some plays. I think he would be the first to tell you he wishes he had back some plays that he's missed. As fast as he is, there just doesn't seem to be a consistent connection down the field. Yes, he's caught some big time passes down the field in his career, but there's probably been more misses and incompletions on deep passes to Arian Smith in his career than completions. And I think that's what Kirby Smart is talking about. Intermediate routes and deeper routes, and then he's had some big plays too. I'm pleased with where Arian Smith is. I hope he keeps getting better and better as he keeps rolling in, trying to be an explosive playmaker for us. He is explosive. He is electric. He's one of the fastest players in college football. But how much are we going to see him this fall? We're going to see him a ton. I don't see him catching 20-plus passes, though. Another guy who could is Dominic Lovett. Here's what Kirby had to say about Dominic Lovett, who was a very productive receiver last year. He'll be back. He's turning into one of those leaders and one of the more reliable pass catchers on the roster right now. He said, so far this spring, I'd say Dom has had a very good spring. He's so much more confident in the offense. I think Carson has so much more confidence in him. They're on the same wavelength. There's been days Dom has been really dominant out there. Now you've got to say, is that because Tyke Smith and Javon Bullard aren't out there covering, so he's making more plays? Or is it that Dom's more comfortable in the offense and he's winning at a higher rate? He's had a good spring. He's had more confidence. He's playing with confidence. I think Carson is really comfortable with him, so I'm pleased with where he's at. His physical toughness continues to improve. This time last year, it was constantly us getting on him about what he was doing without the ball. He makes a conscious effort to be better at that now, and we need him to. So he's a guy who has great hands. He's tremendous after the catch. He can elude defenders down the field. Great in the screen game, the short passing game, the intermediate passing game. But it sounds like he's really coming around to, again, doing the things on the field that he needs to do without the ball. Blocking, just running a route or running a rub route correctly to get someone else open. It's the little things that he's getting better at, and it's only going to make him better. He was a big-time player for them last year, and I'm expecting another solid season in his final year this fall as a senior. Dylan Bell, another guy that he was asked about. If you've been watching my videos, if you've been on Dawg Post, you know how good Dillon Bell really is. I think for the average college football fan, if they were to look up his numbers, they'd say, well, I mean, he's not killing it out there. He's not some game changer. He didn't, put up 1,000 yards here, a bunch of catches, a lot of touchdowns. No, right? But you have to have context. Georgia ran the ball very well. They had a lot of weapons. They had a guy named Brock Bowers, who's the best college football tight end of all time. Not even a conversation. So, yeah, he's going to see the ball a little bit more this year. Also, he was like a part-time running back at the beginning of the year. But you watch him, what he did against Tennessee. Tennessee fans want no part of Dillon Bell anymore. They do not want to see him. They're still having nightmares about Dillon Bell. That's from what sources in Knoxville say. Thousands of people, Tennessee fans, wake up in the middle of the night in a heavy sweat because they think Dillon Bell scored another touchdown on them. That's a true story. Here's what Kirby had to say about Dillon Bell. He's continued to develop and continues to get better. He's still a work in progress. He played high school running back. He played 25% running back last year. The kid worked his tail off at a receiver to get better, but there's a lot of route running things he can get better at. The good thing, he's got a quarterback the caliber of Carson to get him the throws, get him those 50-50 balls. I'm proud of the way he leads and practices. He's taken on more of that Marcus Rosemary, Jack Saint, Ladd McConkey role of being the guy that's a workhorse in that group. That never complains, is really physical, practices hard, and sets the standard for others. I think him, Rod Thomas, Arian Smith, Dominic Lovett have taken ownership of that. Again, if you see me looking down, I'm reading Kirby Smart's quotes from his press conference. You can read them too over on Dawg Post. You can do that by signing up to our free newsletter. That link is right down below in the description. It's easy to sign up. It's free to sign up. It's free to read a lot of stories that we have over on the website. So make sure you're doing that. So we got a lot of stories on the website right now. So check them out because a lot of them are free. So Dillon Bell is a dog, and he might take some more handoffs next year if the running backs are still a little banged up, right? You never know what you're going to get from Branson Robinson right now. He's still coming back from the season-ending injury. Trevor Etienne might have to miss a game or two due to the dumb, reckless driving that he was doing. If he's charged, I don't know if he's ended up being charged. I don't know the latest, but if he is charged, he might have to miss a game or two, and deservedly so. Andrew Paul's coming off an injury. So at running back, they could still use a guy like Dillon Bell. They want him at receiver. What he did against Florida State and Georgia Tech and again Tennessee, the guy's a playmaker. He plays receiver like a running back, but he's got great ball skills. He's got great hands, and he tracks the ball well, and he breaks tackles. There's a lot to like, and there has to be a way, a big-time effort by Mike Bobo and the staff to get this guy the ball a lot next year. Another guy who could see the ball next year a lot is Colby Young, the transfer wide receiver from Miami. Legit 6'5". You cannot teach 6'5". You can't do it. He's got that. He runs like a deer. He breaks tackles after the catch. He's a screen weapon, short passing game, but he can stretch the field and test smaller defensive backs down the field. And if he's in a jump ball one-on-one situation with a smaller cornerback in the red zone, he's going to get a lot of opportunities to make some plays and score some touchdowns. He's a big-time prospect, or not a prospect. He's a big-time receiver. He's a veteran. He's been doing this for some years now. So he's going to come in, I think, make a big impact. Here's what Kirby had to say about Colby Young. Colby Young has flashed. He's seen some really, really great, spectacular plays, and then he's disappeared at times. So it's a learning curve. He doesn't have confidence and know the offense inside and out completely, so I don't think you can judge him. You judge a skill set on one-on-ones when he goes against DBs. You don't really judge his skill set in a scrimmage right now because he's trying to figure everything out. And it's not like the freshman standpoint, it's from the familiarity standpoint. I'm pleased with where he is, and he's a really hard worker, and where he's shown up is on special teams. I mean, he's shown a commitment to special teams that I didn't expect to see, which shows me his toughness level and his buy-in. If you're all about special teams, you're going to be in Kirby's good graces for a long time. Special teams matter. There's still a standard and an expectation at Georgia of how you play special teams. And guys like Dillon Bell, who's played on special teams, Colby Young, I was watching some clips from the 21 season when they won the national championship. Zamir White is on special teams covering a block punt for a touchdown against Arkansas. I mean, these starters are playing special teams because it's important. And when you have an incoming wide receiver transfer who's out there busting heads and giving 100% max effort on special teams, Yeah, Kirby Smart's going to notice that, and you're going to see the field if you practice and compete as hard as some of these guys are doing. So, those are just a few wide receivers that are making a little bit of noise. Anthony Evans is another, Ra Thomas, London Humphreys, Michael Jackson. There's a lot of players. There's a lot of really good ones. It's a very deep, talented group, and you can read more about them on Dawg Post. Thanks for watching this video. Hope to see you on the website.